The Legio Ignatum, one of the oldest and most loyal of the legios in service to the Master of Mankind, have guarded the Eternity Gates for thousands of years. Whilst having a pair of warhounds on constant vigil, they serve by protecting the inner sanctum against the threat of chaos or traitor Astartes. Armed with weapons that can level cities with a single shot, the power of the machine god is shown in an all too terrifying manner. To behold the fire wasps is to bring about certain doom to any who stand opposed. The Legio's mantra, Invaniam viam aut faciem, translated from High Gothic to I will either find a way or I shall make one, goes to show what an awe-inspiring Legio the Titans are who belong here. In Smorgonite's Fire Wasp collection there are the Titans listed below. Sirius Fidelis, Warhound class, designation 4823. Lupus Ignis, Warhound class, designation 5023. Custos Aeternum, Reaver class, designation 2143. Morilette ad Mortem, Warlord class, designation 401. Reinforcements incoming. Who doesn't love a Titan? They are without a doubt the most awesome set that Forge World do. They have the ability to destroy entire armies all by themselves, and they look super cool on the tabletop. I mean, what's not to love? And it was exactly this thinking that got me started in the Titans. Now, the biggest thing with the Titans was the fact that I could buy the weapons and heads separately. Now, I don't think I would have ever got a Titan if you couldn't buy the arms and the heads separately. Now, I did start with the biggest one. I started with the Warlord, Morilette ad Mortem, which originally I had actually painted it up for service to Legio Ulricon, which is a Titan Legion that actually serve alongside the Night Lords. They did get a brief shout out in the Thramas Crusade, but they weren't actually featured with artworks or anything like that. So I actually was able to have some creative freedom with it back in, I think it was 2015 I ordered it. No, maybe 2014, I can't remember. It was back then, it was quite a while ago that I ordered it, and it was quite nice that I could sort of work on getting up a large model where I could have the fact of the changeable weapons, changeable heads, you know, something that was designed to be able to take all armies. If an army's coming at you with heavy tanks, bane blades, shadow swords, things like that, you'd want to take double volcano cannon and laser blasters, but it just meant that obviously I'd got the ability to try and build an army out of one model. I also made it so it's actually changeable, the weapons and heads, without any magnets. There are no magnets used for any of the weapons or the heads to be able to be changed over, which was something that I wasn't striving to do, but I didn't really have much skill in magnetization at the time, so it was sort of, what do I know? Oh, I know pinning, so I'll pin it, and I've actually pinned it with 3.5mm metal rods, so it's actually pinned, and the pins are removable. The pins are magnetic, so they can be taken to pieces with magnets, but at the moment it's just pinned, so I can pin the weapons on and the heads in when I want to change. I then got a Warhound a year or so later, which was the Lupus Ignis, which I called Lupus Ignis because I took it as Inferno cannoned, pair of Inferno cannons, because 8th edition had just come out and the stats had come out for the Inferno cannon, and when it was in 8th edition, I don't know what it is in 9th edition at the moment, but in 8th edition it was 4d6 shots with it was 3d6 shots with 4 damage, strength 8 I believe, so it was literally like, if anything comes near 18 inch, I'm gonna be smoking it. So it was very, very powerful in my opinion, which, you know, worked in my favour for getting a Titan that was a little bit smaller than the Warlord, so I could take it with an army as well in a standard game. After that, Minion then bought a Reaver class Titan, and he called it Custos Aeternum. he actually asked me to build it for him with my knowledge of building the Titans that I built. But obviously, building Titans, they become a labour of love, and you really do sort of fall in love with the characters of the Titan that you're building, and that's exactly what happened here. I actually fell in love with the Titan and asked him if I could buy it off of him, and that's exactly what happened. He sold it to me, and I bought the Titan off of him for adding it to my Legio Ulricon force, and that was sort of where the Legio stood for quite a while. It stood like that for quite a while, and then a friend of mine actually posted pictures of the Forge-World Fortress, or what I thought was the Forge-World Fortress, and I actually messaged him and asked him, where did you get this from? Because I've always wanted one, and it's something that I've wanted since I was small and knew about it, sort of seen a picture of it and stuff. And he told me that it was 3D printed, so that was it. I then spoke to him, and he 3D printed it for me, and it meant that I was getting a fortress for my gaming. Now, he said that obviously with the coronavirus lockdown and everything, it was going to take 6 to 8 months to get here, which was more than okay. I sort of said, you're getting me something I've wanted for ages, so I don't mind. And it basically meant that then I sort of had the time to be able to plan what I wanted to do. And at this point, the Titans were just stood on a shelf, not really doing anything, sort of just being decorative more than anything. And then for one of our anniversaries, Croydon actually managed to find a Warhound that she could buy for me. So she bought me a Warhound for an anniversary together, which I was sort of toying with the idea of painting it up a bit different and not doing a Legio Ulricon, and maybe looking at doing it as a Legio Ignatum, purely because of the Warhounds guarding the Eternity Gate story, and it sort of snowballed from there, really. The fact that I've got Custodes and got 20,000 points worth of Custodes, it sort of made sense to me that I would have a Loyalist Titan Legio, because when am I actually really playing traitors anyway? I'm not really touching the traitor side of stuff anymore, which was a shame. But at the same time, we all evolve and we all grow and we all change our plans and stuff, and I really enjoyed painting my Night Lords and my Iron Warriors and armies like that. But at the same time, I'd not really clicked with an army as much as I did with my Custodes. So that was basically the deciding point. From there, it meant that what I was going to do was I was going to paint up this new Warhound in Legio Ignatum style. Now, I'd never painted Legio Ignatum before. I'd seen, obviously, some amazing jobs done out there by a lot of the Titan Owners Club members, and sort of went on the website to have a look at some of their Titans, and there's absolutely beautiful paint jobs done of Legio Ignatum Titans, and I just knew that I wouldn't be able to match something like that that they'd done with an airbrush. So I sort of set about deciding how I was going to do it with a paintbrush, and I think that the scheme that I came up with was quite nice. It looks quite good altogether. So I finished the first Warhound and thought, you know what, that's it. All of them are going to be recommissioned and redone into the Legio Ignatum colours. And I started with the smallest. After the first Warhound, I then went on to the second Warhound, painted that one up, really enjoyed that. Decided then the Reaver would be next. So Custos Eternum got hit with the Stripper and the Lead Belcher spray. I started then painting up the Reaver back to, or into this new Legio, to Legio Ignatum, and then finally it came for me to repaint the Warlord. Now, I have never ever worried as much as I did when I was painting this model that it wouldn't dry right. So I waited till the heat of summer in 2020 to be able to paint it right, so that it would dry without pooling the washers, and that everything would dry in a timely manner and not go wrong. And so I actually managed, in our studio, I rigged up a piece of string, a piece of rope, to be able to hold the Titan body and the legs and stuff as they were drying, so that it would dry organically and I wouldn't have to sort of use the heat gun and stuff that I'd used on the other Titans. So I actually repainted all 3 of my Titans from Legio Ulricon to the Fire Wasps, and I haven't looked back, to be honest. It's something that I'm really pleased that I've done. I did have the the Lucius pattern head, which I refused to paint up into Legio Ignatum, purely because of the fact that I had started with Legio Ulricon. I wanted this head to stay the same as well, so I sort of put that one in the box and left it in a box so that I could keep that as a memento. So I got the Warlord head, the Alpha pattern head from Forge World, the normal head, painted that one up and had that as my replacement. I did have boxed away as well the Beta pattern head as well, so I painted that one up as well in the stripes and hazard markings of the normal Legio Ignatum sort of colours, with yellow stripes, and painted half of it in stripes and half of it red, and it looked good and I enjoyed it, but that then became used for something else, which I will talk about in another podcast. But it was only the other week that I actually decided, I'm so sold on the Legio Ignatum, I will strip the head and restart on the Lucius pattern head, and I actually repainted it up into the Legio Ignatum colours, and to be honest, I am more than happy with how it's turned out. It's nice that I've got multiple heads for Legio Ignatum now, and I've not sort of wasted this Lucius pattern head. I've actually got the head that I wanted on my Warlord from the start. I've got it now for the Legio Ignatum Titan, and I know that means that I've got a spare head, but with the advent of my magnum opus army, I actually do have a use for that head down the line. So I'm actually quite pleased that I do have now the Titans, all four of them, repainted, 2 Warhounds, a Reaver and a Warlord, repainted in service of the Legio Ignatum. And then my Imperial Fortress arrived from my friend in Australia, and it meant that I could have this fortress being guarded by the 2 Warhounds, with then a Reaver and a Warlord ready to stand in defence of it. I won't spoil anything here, but also Mortis, the book by John French, which has just come out for the Siege of Terror. That one definitely gave me sort of Legio Ignatum and a fortress vibes, and very much looking forward to playing some narrative missions that I'm going to write for strategic painting around Mortis, Legio Mortis and Legio Ignatum, and clashing outside the Imperial Palace. So that was the plan for the Titans. I'm going to link in again the website, the gallery page for the Legio Ignatum, so you can see the photographs that I've put together of the Titans. More will be coming, hopefully. Obviously, we've just got to save for a few months and years and whatnot just to get the full mana pull up to full strength. So, well, thank you very much for listening, and take care.